He told her that he plays football for a big club in Europe. What she did next will shock you. The Harmattan wind had barely settled when Daniel stepped out of the airport into the heart of Abuja. He adjusted the strap of his designer duffel bag and slipped on his dark shades, hoping no one would recognize him just yet. His jeans were crisp, his white sneakers spotless, and the badge of his supposed club, an elite European football team, stood proudly on his black hoodie. But the streets of Wuse had a way of stripping even the finest clothes of their pride. Daniel hadn't been home in 3 years. He left as a struggling young footballer with nothing but a dream and 2 pairs of worn-out boots. But now, everyone believed he had made it. At least that's what he told them. "I play in Spain now," he would say casually over the phone. "Big league, you know. I can't wait to come back and bless the hood." There were whispers that he played for Barcelona. Others said it was a second-tier club somewhere in the cold part of Europe. The truth? Nobody knew, and Daniel wasn't exactly in a hurry to clarify. As he made his way through the familiar streets, old friends waved, some with envy, some with suspicion. Market women whispered to one another as he passed. "See him, that one way say na ball he go to play abroad. Na so?" Daniel smiled, pretending not to hear. This was what he had dreamed of. Attention, admiration, a sprinkle of fear. But there was one person he wanted to see most of all: Sarah. Sarah had been the shy girl who lived 2 streets away from Daniel's mother's house. She was quiet, book-smart, and beautiful in the kind of way that didn't try too hard. Back then, she never looked twice at Daniel. But that was before the football stories, before the European phone number, before the Instagram photos of luxury hotels and expensive cars. None of it was exactly real, but none of it was exactly false either. Not in Daniel's mind. He spotted her that evening by the mango tree beside her gate. She wore a mustard yellow dress that shimmered in the dying light, her hair in a simple bun, her eyes downcast as she typed something on her phone. Daniel's heart skipped. This was it, the moment he dreamed about. He cleared his throat. "Sarah?" She looked up, startled. A flash of recognition crossed her face, then something unreadable. "Daniel?" His smile widened. "I'm back, from Spain." At first, Sarah was polite. She listened to Daniel talk about life in Europe, the stadium lights, the cold training mornings, the champagne celebrations after victories. He spoke with such confidence that even she, a naturally skeptical person, began to wonder if maybe, just maybe, it was all true. They sat on the low cement fence outside her house that night, talking long after the power cut plunged the street into darkness. The moon shone down gently, casting silver light on their faces. Daniel told her he would be in Abuja for just a short time before flying back to Spain. "Coach doesn't like us staying too long away," he said, "but I begged for a few days. I missed home. I missed you." Sarah smiled, unsure how to respond. She had changed a lot in 3 years. Her mother had fallen ill, and she'd taken up a job at a clinic to help with bills. Life had taught her to ask hard questions, even if they ruined sweet moments. "Which club did you say you play for again?" she asked casually. Daniel hesitated. Real Zaragoza," he said, picking a name he'd heard during a video game match once. It sounded impressive enough. "Never heard of it," Sarah said gently, though she had. It was a second-division team in Spain. A good one, but not the kind that wore black hoodies with gold lions like the one Daniel had on. She noted it quietly. The next day, word spread that Daniel was back. Boys from the neighborhood gathered around him at the local barber shop, asking for selfies and stories. He didn't disappoint. He spoke of scoring goals against big clubs, of being scouted by agents in Germany, of eating dinner with Nigerian legends in London. But as his tales grew more colorful, the eyebrows around him began to raise. "Which match dem show you for DSTV?" one of the boys asked. "We dey follow all the leagues, but we never see your face." Daniel laughed it off. "Not every match is televised," he said. And sometimes I sit out for tactical reasons, injury concerns, But the doubts were planted. Later that evening, Sarah met with her friend Esther, a quiet girl who worked part-time at the airport. "He said he landed from Spain yesterday," Sarah told her. "Did you see his name on any flight manifest?" Esther frowned. "He didn't land on any international flight. The only one from Spain was through Paris, just businessmen and one Nollywood actress." That night, Sarah sat alone under the same mango tree where they had first spoken. Her thoughts were loud. The puzzle pieces didn't fit. And while a part of her hoped Daniel was telling the truth, her instincts told her something else. Daniel wasn't just hiding something. He might be hiding everything. By the weekend, Wusei buzzed with gossip. The once celebrated Daniel was now the subject of ridicule. Everywhere he turned, people whispered behind their hands or laughed openly at his stories. Even children mocked him with fake accents. "I play in Spain, I score goal every day," while the older boys called him baller from nowhere. Daniel tried to hold his head high, but the weight of suspicion had started to crush him. He avoided Sarah, though she hadn't said anything cruel. Her silence hurt more than words. And when he passed by the mango tree and found her missing from her usual spot, he knew something had shifted between them. But fate has a way of offering second chances, sometimes in the most public of ways. That Sunday, the local youth organizer announced a surprise football match at the Wusei Township pitch. The idea was simple: a charity match between returning footballers and the best local talent. Word spread fast, and when someone loudly suggested, "Let's see if our Europe brother can play," the whole crowd roared with laughter. Daniel froze. This was it. This was the moment his stories would either live or die. He didn't back down. "I'll play," he said calmly. "Let's see if your local stars can keep up." When the day arrived, the dusty pitch was packed. Old men brought plastic chairs, women sold puff-puff and cold drinks, and children climbed trees for better views. Even Sarah came, standing quietly at the far end, her arms folded, face unreadable. The match started slowly. The locals were good, fast, aggressive, hungry. But Daniel? Daniel was something else. He danced with the ball like it was part of him. His first touch was velvet. His turns were tight, his passes precise. Within 10 minutes, he'd scored a goal that left even the most skeptical mouths hanging open. By halftime, he had assisted 2 more. People began whispering again, but this time with wonder. Where this boy learn ball like this? He no just a formo, he fit really play. As the second half unfolded, a man in dark glasses stood near the edge of the field. He wore a clean tracksuit and carried a clipboard. No one knew him, but he nodded silently each time Daniel made a move. At one point, he smiled. Sarah noticed the man too, and something in her chest stirred. At full time, Daniel walked off the pitch to thunderous applause. Boys who had mocked him the day before now asked for his autograph. The organizer handed him a small trophy and whispered, "Whatever doubts they had, they're gone now." But Daniel didn't look at the crowd. He searched for Sarah. And when he found her, standing still, watching him, not with suspicion, but something far more dangerous, hope, he walked straight toward her. Just before he reached her, the man with the clipboard stopped him. "You're Daniel Chukwuma, right?" "Yes," Daniel said, slightly breathless. The man nodded. "I'm with the Nigerian National Scouting Committee. We've been tracking you online. Your footwork today confirmed what the footage couldn't. We need to talk." And just like that, the boy who lied was no longer a liar. The days that followed the match were unlike anything Wusei had seen before. Daniel's name was on every lip. Video clips of his performance spread like wildfire on social media, recorded from shaky phones but powerful enough to silence every rumor. Local radio stations mentioned him in their morning sports briefs, calling him the Silent Eagle. Suddenly, he wasn't just the boy who claimed to play in Europe, he was the boy who proved it. The scout from the Nigerian National Committee met with Daniel and his mother the very next day. It turned out Daniel had been playing in Spain all along for a modest but reputable club in the Segunda División. His reason for staying quiet about the exact name of the team? He didn't think anyone back home would care unless it was Barcelona or Manchester United, so he let the rumors swirl and fed the fantasy a little, not to deceive but to inspire. But the people of Wuse hadn't seen it that way. They had laughed, mocked, doubted. Now, they clapped when he walked by. They asked for photos. Even the same boys who once dragged his name through the dirt now carried his football boots after training. One afternoon, Sarah found him again, this time under the mango tree where it all began. She wore a simple blue top and jeans, her smile gentle and honest. "I owe you an apology," she said quietly. "No," Daniel replied, shaking his head. "You don't owe me anything. I knew what it looked like." "I should have believed you," she whispered. I've met so many who pretend to be more than they are. And I pretended to be less," he said, a soft laugh in his voice. "Strange, isn't it?" They both smiled, the silence between them no longer heavy with doubt, but light with possibility. A few days later, the same airport Daniel had walked through in anonymity now echoed with cheers as he boarded his flight back to Spain. This time, the neighborhood came out to send him off. Market women blessed him, old men shook his hand, young boys promised to train harder, and Sarah, well, she didn't say much, but her hug lingered longer than it needed to. As the plane took off, Daniel looked down at the city that once questioned his truth. He felt no bitterness, only gratitude. Because even in doubt, even in disbelief, they had given him a story worth telling. And one day, when he returned, not to prove anything, but simply to come home, they would remember. He was the boy who told the truth. They were just too used to lies to recognize it.